everybody. My name is Brian Foley. I am a criminal defense attorney here at Houston Criminal Defense Attorneys, PLLC, and today we're talking about possession of marijuana. Yes, Houston, Harris County, they are making arrests for possession of marijuana. Again, there was a long time period where, misdemeanor level offenses were not being handled unless you had like a weapon, unlawful carrying of a weapon, and a possession of marijuana. Or sometimes we saw them arresting people for possession of marijuana when there was a more serious drug that still needed to be tested, but they wanted this person to be, sort of on the hook, making them come back to court so they could file a higher charge. Like, for example, mushrooms. If you had a psilocybin mushroom, the DA's office requires a chemical test to confirm that that's mushrooms before they will actually accept the charge. So they would arrest people for possession of marijuana and then wait on that testing for the other charge. But nowadays, again, they are arresting full-on cases for possession of marijuana. When somebody gets arrested for possession of marijuana in Harris County, you're taken immediately to the JPC, or the Joint Processing Center. It's in downtown Houston, and it's a place, it's kind of like the jail. It's attached to the jail, but really it's a place where they can book you, have you go to what's called PC court for your Article 1517 hearing, and then release after you've made a bond. But most people on a possession of marijuana case are eligible for what's called a GOB, or a general order bond. This means you get out of jail without having to pay any money. You're given a court date, and you're supposed to come back. If you don't come back, you could get rearrested, but otherwise, you don't really have a bond. We would call that a personal recognizance bond in most other places. Harris County calls it a GOB bond. So what most people want to know is, can you get a case like this dismissed and off of their record? Your record is a very sort of complicated and precious thing. To have a clean record is extremely important if you're looking for jobs, trying to rent an apartment, get approved for a loan, all of these things, getting into college, all these things are going to require you to have some kind of a background check. And while it's not possible to know what every private background check company or agency is going to have for you when a specific information is put in, what we can do anytime there's a criminal case is, if we get that criminal case dismissed, we can apply then for an expunction. An expunction is a separate civil process, a separate civil lawsuit that it covers deletion of all criminal records. So if an expunction is granted by a district court judge in Harris County on for example, possession of marijuana, it'll be because that possession of marijuana case was dismissed. Once the original criminal case gets dismissed and an expunction is ordered by a judge, then all the different criminal entities, for example, the district attorney's office, the sheriff's office who took the mugshot fingerprints, the district clerk's office that held on to the records of the case, all those different agencies have to delete any and all records related to that case once an expunction has been granted. They do have some time period, there's some waiting periods for those things, but for example, like a possession of marijuana misdemeanor case, the Harris County DA's office is probably going to waive a statute of limitation periods of 2 years that you would normally have to wait. Instead, they will allow that to happen pretty quickly, almost all the time. It's not guaranteed. Again, that is something we have to negotiate with the DA's office, but a lot of times you could be arrested for possession of marijuana and have a totally clean record within, 6 to 12 months. I know that sounds slow to most people, but that's really quick for the judicial system. So when you're trying to find an attorney, what you want to do is make sure you have somebody that you feel like you can trust and is going to tell you the truth from the beginning. A possession of marijuana case is not a difficult case for a good defense attorney, but you may have some factors that would lead the prosecution to want to prosecute that case. That could be prior criminal history. That's why it's so important, if you have a dismissed case on your record, you want to get that expunged so that a prosecutor doesn't run your history when you get a new case and sees, oh, well, this person's been arrested before. If a prosecutor looks at a criminal history and it says that this person's been arrested before and the case was dismissed, the prosecutor does not assume that they were wrongfully arrested and then the right result of dismissal was eventually gotten. They assume that you were guilty and that you should have been convicted, but you weren't because of the, magnanimous prosecutor actions, in this prior case, or maybe some skilled defense attorney got you off of that case. That's what they think. And so that's why it's so important, if you do get arrested for something, even as low levels, possession of marijuana, get a defense attorney who knows what they're doing, get that case dismissed, and then get it expunged. Because everybody in the criminal justice system that reviews these things later on, they are going to have these thoughts that, even if it was dismissed, if I can see it on their record, they're going to basically count that as a conviction against you in their mind and how they view how they should handle this new case.